It's a comfort to me.
Outside of that,
I appreciate that. And understand.
We're driving down the way. Just
Good evening, everybody. It is 6 o'clock, so we'll get started. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in agenda item 3. If you would like to speak during public participation, just fill out one of these forms and get it up here so that you'll be recognized and heard. Valerie, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon.
Here.
Ms. Griffin. Mr. Rudd.
Here.
Mr. Skidmore.
Here.
Dr. Smith. Here. Mr. Kibner.
Here.
Ms. Moore. Here.
So I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll move to item 3A, strategic plan presentation. Ms. Thomas.
I have been waiting to present this for, about a month, so we're really excited tonight. Thank you for giving me a few minutes to just introduce you to the proposed strategic plan and go over how we plan to use it for the next 5 years. All of you have had a copy of the draft. I sent that in my board packet a few weeks ago, and you guys have been updated on a little bit of that. And I also put a copy of the portrait of a graduate and the draft strategic plan back there if anybody would like to see that. All right, so tonight, just for a few minutes, I want to talk about our previous strategic plan, how the process of updating and development of the proposed plan, and then how we will monitor the progress of that plan as moving forward. So our previous strategic plan was developed back in the 18-19 school year. In my career here, I don't remember going through a strategic planning process before that. So it was nice to see that process happen to start with. We had a large group of community members here, staff members, family, parents, who came together and worked together to come up with our vision, our mission, and our pillars for our strategic plan. And those were the 5 pillars that we decided on at that time that were important to the community. This just gives you an example of some of the goals that were on the previous strategic plan. We went all the way from creating STEM opportunities to making sure we had a multi-tiered system of support, all the way down to establishing an online checkbook. And so that's just an example of all of the things that we have completed or are still ongoing and working toward. For example, the STEM opportunities, we have expanded those, and as we get into the new building, we will have completed that K-12 for our district. So what was the timeline and process of updating our proposed plan? So February of last year, we called the original design group back to meet with us, along with other members of the community and staff, parents, just to make sure that we had a good representation of the community. And by doing that, we collected the community feedback, walked them through a series of pieces to decide what competencies we felt were most important for our graduates to have when they graduated from Valley View High School. From that, we took a break over the summer, and in October of October 2023, I did send a survey out to the community with the previous strategic plan and pillars and asked, what do you still find important? What could we maybe drop? And what would you like to add to that plan? With that feedback and the feedback of the design team, we created our pillars and what we felt was important, and then the administrative team got together and actually wrote the goals and objectives under each of those. We brought that back then to the design team and got even more feedback, and we feel like we've got a really good plan in place. And then, of course, this summer, if the proposed plan is accepted, then we will begin that implementation process moving into next school year. So this is our portrait of a graduate. Again, those are the 5 competencies that the group came up with that are so important for our graduates to have. And we use that as a North Star to create our strategic plan. This just gives you a comparison of the 2018 pillars and 2024 pillars. Obviously, we're going to keep that strong academic achievement, academic excellence. The Spartan development, we changed it from student to Spartan. We added the family component to that partnership piece. And then one of the bigger differences was we had a facilities and finances pillar. We combined this together in operations and finance because we're no longer worrying about can we get a new building. Now it's how can we keep it and maintain it. These are just some examples of the objectives that are in our plan. Of course, we're going to make sure that we get on career pathways, making sure we're using evidence-based practices, keeping that whole child focus, and making sure that our students are future ready. Again, some other ones, making sure that we have those partnerships. We are using as many channels for communication as possible, staying financially healthy, staying up with innovative use of technology and a safe digital environment. That's very important. The more that we use, we need to make sure that our students are safe and their data is safe. And then operations, again, instead of focusing on getting a new building and passing a bond issue, now it is maintaining those facilities to make sure that they are safe and clean. So what does implementation and progress monitoring look like? When we have an approved plan, Mrs. Lucas has already done a lot of work on our website, and we'll put that out on Facebook and Parent Square, but our website will be updated with the plan, with some background information. If you've seen other schools, they really do a nice job of highlighting what their focus is on. And so I'm excited to see that when she's ready to push that out. I sent the draft to all of our teachers asking for feedback and did a question and answer session with them. All of our building and teacher goals from here on out will be tied to our new plan. So all decisions we make would go back to that plan, financially and any academic decisions we make. And then I would really like to have a community launch with our new building. We get to that new building, let's really put our focus on our strategic plan and the path that we are going together. And then, of course, we have to progress monitor, so we would keep track of the progress and the goals that we meet throughout the year and make sure that that's presented back to the board and the community at this year. That is all I have. I just want to say this plan is, I think, something we can be really proud of. And if we keep moving forward to meet those, I think we'll be able to ensure our district continues to provide excellent service for our students and community. Are there any questions about the plan?
Thanks so much.
All right. I'm going to segue into, are you ready for summer school?
Am I ready for summer school? Okay, we're going. Yeah, I'm ready for whatever you got next.
All right. So I just wanted to give a little bit of background on our summer school program. In the past, we have provided summer school to some of our junior high students that need to pass those state tests in order to go on to high school. That kind of went by the wayside, gosh, probably 7 or 8, maybe 9 years ago. And we've also provided high school credit recovery classes in the summer. We've never really done any type of summer school for those younger kiddos that need that extra boost before school starts. So with our ESSER funds and learning loss, we thought we should use those funds to provide our students with a boost before school starts, hence why we started summer school 3 years, 3 years?
Yeah.
Yes, summer school 3 years ago. ESSER funds are running out, and so we would have to ask you to fund summer school to keep that continuing. So Mr. Stoutenborough is our summer school coordinator, and I've asked him to talk a little bit about what that looks like and the results that we've seen from that initiative.
Yeah, thank you. So we offered Summer Academy the last 3 years, and like Ms. Thomas said, the ESSER funds are starting to run out. But how we selected those kids is we looked at anybody who could benefit academically and get a start into the new school year. So we did it from a rising first grader, which would be somebody that concluded kindergarten, all the way up to a fourth grader that would be rising up into 5th grade. So the way that I went through and broke this information down, we use a program called Branching Minds. If you guys are not familiar with that, every teacher has access to this program, and it has all kind of academic information like test scores, any intervention that a teacher has attempted, whether it was successful or not successful, but it also has behavior issues in there as well. So anything that could affect learning is like a central portal that we can all go and say, well, look, back in 3rd grade, they were passing, and now we're a 5th grader, what kind of happened here? So what we did was we generated a student list of 10 to 20 kids in each grade that could benefit from getting a jump start on the year. And when we put this together, we decided we would give each kid 1 ELA hour, we would give each kid 1 math hour, and then I was in charge of a 40-minute STEM lesson, and then when they weren't coming to me, they would go and get library or an art activity they would do, and they would alternate. We also gave them a little bit of like 10 minutes of phys ed to break up the 2 academic classes. And then we fed them, and so they arrived about 8:40 and they would leave right about noon, and they would have a full meal as well. So we averaged about 10 to 15 kids per the 5 grades that we've offered the Summer Academy. Last year, 42 kids attended 13 of 14 instructional days in the middle of their summer. And then we had another 13 kids come at least 10 of the 14 days that we offer. All kids are pre-tested and post-tested so that we could start to see if the program was going to have beneficial gains. The median growth in that time frame was 15 to 40% growth during those 14 days, and the average fell right about 22%. So these are our most marginal kids, and they're having an average growth of about 22%. Using the data from Branching Minds, anybody who attended multiple years, so like I said, we're in our 3rd year, so I was able to go back and pull a kid that started maybe as a rising first grader, and now they're in the 4th grade. And what we saw was a growth anywhere from 10 to 15%. So that's pretty good when you're looking at continuing to increase. This year, with the way the new schedule is, we are not going to be able to offer a full 3 weeks. So we are looking at a 10-day. It would be the first 2 weeks of August instead of a full 3 weeks. The entire program looks like with materials, the lunch, and the teachers would run about $25,000. And for us to implement it correctly, we would need 10 to 12 teachers. We're hoping for similar results. We see no reason why the results would change. The only thing, obviously, if losing a couple days could have an adverse effect, but we wouldn't know until we give it an opportunity. Anybody have a question for me on Summer Academy?
Thank you, Doug. Roman numeral 3C, public participation. Let's go with Terry Smith.
My name is Terry Smith. I'm your representative on the ESC Montgomery County School Board. We're not really called a school board, we're a service center because we don't have students. But you have sent students to us and you buy services from us. So I just want to introduce myself to you that there's not much I can do at one of your school board meetings, but I represent you there and I represent Valley View on the CTC board. So we've got students there. I've got 35 years boardmanship experience, so I know everything there is to know about boardmanship. That's a joke. I've had many sleepless nights, many phone calls at school board meetings and football games, basketball games. And I was on New Lebanon for 16 years, I've been on the ESC for 19. I'm on the CTC board. I was appointed there last year, so I represent you, and I just wanted to come and introduce myself to you. I used to come at least once or twice a year before COVID. I haven't been since COVID. Some of you I'm just meeting for the first time. I think I met Mr. Skidmore maybe at Montgomery County, one of our Montgomery County meetings, but I just wanted to introduce myself to you. If there's any questions, tell your superintendent he can call Shannon Cox. So that would be great. So other than that, that's all.
Right, thank you, sir.
Well, thank you.
Lisa Valentine.
Hi, my name is Lisa Valentine. I am your primary and intermediate school nurse, and I have Amber Hiller here with me. I will probably read from my paper because I gave public speaking, but I'm very passionate about what I came to tell you guys today. So like I said, I introduced herself. At the primary and intermediate buildings, I am responsible for taking care of over 1,000 students ranging from pre-K to 6th grade. And Amber has to look after more than 700 students, even though her two buildings are miles apart. We are here today because we believe that the current staffing of nurses in our school district is unsafe. As per the standard guidelines, a single nurse should be capable of caring for 700 healthy students in a safe manner. However, this number decreases as the number of medically complex students increase. For instance, students who require daily medication or have serious health concerns like diabetes, seizures, those students may demand more of a nurse's attention, which can take away from addressing other everyday concerns. At present, there are 16 children at the primary and intermediate buildings who receive daily medication, 2 diabetic children, 13 children with emergency medication needs, and 17 children who require as-needed medications at school. At the junior high and high school, we have 5 children who require daily medication, 6 require as-needed medication, 14 with emergency medication needs, and 6 are diabetics, including 1 who needs constant monitoring and intervention. On average, I care for approximately 50 students in addition to those requiring medication or diabetic care while at school. Combined, that's about 66 students who require my attention during an average day. This leaves me with approximately 6 minutes to care for each of those children, which can be a daunting task. It is such a daunting task that when I recently transitioned from full-time to part-time, the school struggled to find a nurse who would care for the children on my days off. 4 nurses quit after less than 1 week, several after less than 24 hours with us. And other substitute nurses, refused to return in the future due to the high level of stress and unsafe environment in our schools. And these are nurses, substitute nurses, who go to many other schools local in our region. Other duties under our responsibility include managing medical files for every student in the district, ensuring that immunization records are kept up to date, managing incoming preschool medical documentation, district-wide documentation, and ensuring compliance with the state of Ohio. We also oversee hearing and vision screenings of preschool, kindergarten, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 11th grades, as well as additional hearing and vision screenings that are deemed necessary. As we all know, younger children tend to be more demanding regarding bumps and bruises and everyday illnesses. My day can range from helping a child who has been hurt on the playground to rushing off to tend to a diabetic. Unfortunately, I can't be in two places at once and often feel overwhelmed and unable to provide adequate care. For example, I recently found myself called to the intermediate building to help a child with a serious medical concern, while one of my diabetic children needed my immediate attention in the clinic. This is unacceptable and puts our students at risk. Children's safety is our top priority, but we feel unheard despite repeatedly voicing our concerns. The superintendent has responded that we lack funds to hire additional nursing staff. After voicing my concerns, the solution was to hire an untrained, unlicensed aide to assist in the clinic for only 20 hours a week. While I appreciate her help greatly, she is unable to assist with medication or diabetic children, which are two of our most critical needs. Furthermore, due to her limited hours, she is not present at school after 2 p.m., Monday through Thursday, or on Friday entirely. We are facing a similar situation with Amber, who is in charge of both junior high and high school, which are located miles apart. We're concerned about the safety of the students in the case of any medical emergency, as there is not always a nurse available at both buildings at all times. The person who is taking care of the students at the junior high is also an unlicensed and non-medically trained aide, and we are worried about the potential risks involved. We strongly believe that each school building must have a nurse to ensure the safety and well-being of our children. It is important to note that if we don't have healthy children to educate, all of our efforts to provide quality education will be in vain. It is a serious matter, and we are facing a ticking time bomb. We need to take action before it's too late. And you may be thinking that moving to the new school next year will solve this problem. However, that is not the case. Although we may be moving to one building, our student population will not decrease. Moreover, we have planned to keep the preschool located at its current building while we remodel the high school for an entire year. Will they have a school nurse on site, or will we have to continue to shuffle to and from each building, leaving our children at risk? As a member of the community, an employee, a former graduate of Valley View, and a concerned parent, I urge the school board to prioritize the safety and well-being of our children. It's crucial that they have access to adequate nursing staff. The school board has boasted that they have enough funds to hire 2 superintendents, yet the school has failed to employ an additional nurse due to financial concerns. Therefore, I kindly request the school board to reconsider its budget allocation and invest in hiring more nursing staff to ensure our children are safe. And if you believe I have misspoken, you are welcome, school board members, to come to the clinic any day and bear witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Roman numeral 4, approval of minutes for the regular board meeting, March 11, 2024. It's attachment number 1 in your packet. I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the March 11th meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith? Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore? Yes. Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Roman numeral 5, building project update.
The building project. I encourage everyone to reach out to me that hasn't and take a tour of it. It's absolutely amazing. I know I say it every month, but until you see it for yourself, you just don't understand. We're running about 150 men on site every day. The place is crazy. They're running back and forth all into the building doing different trades. They have painted in the kindergarten and first grade classrooms now. All the ceiling grids and light fixtures are starting to go in. We're starting to see and feel like it's a finished product already. We're not even close to finished, but it's starting to feel as though it is. Over the last 2 weeks, I was giving 2 tours a day to all of the police departments, fire departments, River Township Road Department, the nurses. Been very busy giving more and more people request them. So just encourage anybody that is interested to reach out to me. I'll be happy to take you up.
Roman numeral 6, financial reports request. Recommend the board approve the financial statements for the month ending March 31st, 2024, attachment number 2 in your packet. Do we have a motion to that effect?
Make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Valerie, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore? Yes. Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Roman numeral 6B, recommend the board approve the following then and now certifications. The amount required to meet this application was in the treasury, or in the process of collection. It's $35.20 for music in the parks, dated March 30, 2024. Valerie, could you give us a quick explanation of what this is?
This is just an invoice that came in, the invoice date was on 3/20, and the actual purchase order was after that, and it was above the threshold of my approval, so it needed to be approved the board.
I make a motion that we approve the certification. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Roman numeral 7A, new business personnel, approve personnel as recommended in attachment number 3. Someone like to make a motion to that effect?
So moved.
We have a motion from Tyson.
Second.
There we go. Any discussion? Valerie, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Roman numeral 7B, recommend the board approve the strategic plan, attachment number 4, in our packets. I will make a motion to that effect. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to thank everyone who worked on it. They put in a lot of time, done some really good work.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think everything in it aligns with our values, everything in it aligns with the goals that we want to see the district go, so I'm thrilled with it. Valerie, you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Roman numeral 7C, recommend the board adopt a formal resolution declaring the Valley View Local School District's intent not to provide career technical education to students in the 7th and 8th grade for the 2024-2025 school year. Valerie, would you give a quick explanation of what this is and why?
I'm not sure that I can speak specifically to it. I know it's something that we pass every year.
Well, then I'll give my explanation. If we're not going to provide this specific instruction, we have to, as a board, go on record of doing it. And so that's why we're doing it. I make a motion that we adopt that resolution. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Roman numeral 7D, recommend the board approve the BWC competitive air quality grant, $14,750. Valerie, could you give us an explanation of the grant?
Yes, sure. Mr. DePew has been very active this year, applying for different grants in pertaining to this particular facility. And this is one grant that he has been able to apply for and achieve, be selected for, and to improve some of the air quality in one part of the building. Per board policy, we have to bring all donations to the district, to the board, and competitive grants, and this qualifies as a competitive grant.
All right, let's make a motion that we approve the grant. Any second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Rudd?
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore?
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Roman numeral 7E, recommend the board approve a 3-year contract with DCTS for professional technology services. You have copies of that. Valerie, would you care to give us an explanation of what this is?
Sure. We currently use DCTS for our technology services, our break fix person and our network administrator. Our contract ends in May of 2024. This is to provide services through 27. We did go through a competitive bidding process, and DCTS was the least costly preferred provider. There are some clauses in this that if we choose, once we get moved into the building and we find that we don't fully need all the services that are in this contract, there's flexibility that we can make adjustments. We're not locked into these resources for 3 years.
So make a motion that we approve that contract.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I mean, obviously, the thing that was important to me that we discussed during the agenda meeting is the scalability of that. And so the fact that we have flexibility is huge. Because the fact is, we're going to learn a lot over the next year or two.
about our needs and about our capabilities, and so that's answered. Any other discussion? Valerie, would you call the roll?
Mr. Dillon,
Yes.
Ms. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Rudd,
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore,
Yes.
and Dr. Smith.
Yes.
Roman numeral 7F, recommend the board approve an amendment to the first student contract for alternative transportation services. Valerie, could you give an explanation for the community as to what alternative transportation services we're talking about?
We currently, or in years past, we have operated vans for students that we need to, for various reasons. They have specialized transportation, various things. They go different places. This year, we're dealing with, and everybody's heard it, drivers are very difficult to find, and we've been using our maintenance staff to supplement that. Well, we're getting to the point where we need our maintenance staff to be here to start maintaining the buildings for through the summer, and then also to go to training for the new building, which is going to require quite a bit of their staff. So this is to outsource, use for student to do the van drivers. They're experts in finding drivers. They don't have trouble like we do finding drivers. And this is to be able to use for service to free up our maintenance folks to be here at the district.
I do have a question. So does that like increase the cost?
Yes.
Okay, so can somebody tell me a little bit about why we're having problems finding drivers? Like, are we not offering the benefits, or not, I mean, people aren't applying, like what's the backstory to that?
Mr. DePuy, can you help?
I can try. So, I mean, statewide, nationwide, I believe there's a labor shortage. And it doesn't matter what you offer pay, people don't want to work for whatever reason. I can't explain it. Nobody seems to be able to. We are paying what we feel to be a fair, competitive wage. We do offer benefits. Everyone knows school district benefits are a little better than most public benefit jobs. It's so bad right now that I actually have, or until last week, I had my outdoor maintenance guy permanently in the building on second shift because I can't find custodians either. I'm currently working with Mr. McKee to hire an active student as a custodian who will be graduating, who happens to be already 18, thank God. So that's gonna give us a little bit of relief with that one. But it's just that way all across the board. And just for clarification, we're not giving up our vans and our service. We actually still have some permanent drivers that we have no issue with and that show up for work. We're gonna keep them and keep their routes under our hands as well. So we're not giving up everything, just the ones we can't fill.
And when, frankly, we saw, was it Fairmont, I think last year, was putting out full page ad in their newspaper trying to find bus drivers. We haven't had to do that yet, but you know, it is a stopgap measure to fill a need that frankly we can't fill ourselves. All right, I will make a motion to approve the amendment to the first student contract accordingly. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Valerie, would you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Dillon,
Yes.
Ms. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Rudd,
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore,
Yes.
Dr. Smith.
Yes.
Roman numeral 7G, recommend the board approve the changes to the athletic extracurricular handbook. Someone like to make a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm just curious how much this has come into play as far as fans having first, second, third warnings. I'm just curious if you guys could give me a little feedback on how prevalent is the issue.
We had one issue this year. One of the cleanups was the way the policy was written from last year. They met with me and then they were immediately able to come back to a game. Whereas this cleanup allows at least a minimum of a 2 game, kind of give that separation. So we only had one instance this year, which was very fortunate for us. Just kind of cleans that up.
So if you have a fan who gets warnings and then gets pitched out, home or away, is everybody in SWBL going to honor what we put into motion here, or how does that get enforced?
We can't necessarily enforce it at another school. I mean, we can obviously have a conversation with the fan, and if we're there, we can do that. Certainly for our events and our facilities, something that we can easily enforce.
I just saw the home and away, and I'm thinking, how are we gonna enforce?
Yeah, if it's our students, it's a denial of privileges quite often. Those are pretty easy to enforce. With an adult fan, that would be another sort of instance. Fortunately, we won't have any ones this year, which is great.
Questions, discussion? Do we have a motion second on this already?
Yes.
All right. Valerie, would you call the roll?
Mr. Dillon.
Yes.
Ms. Griffin.
Yes.
Mr. Rudd.
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore.
Yes.
Dr. Smith.
Yes.
Roman numeral 7H, recommend the board approve summer school, August 1 through 14, 2024. Do we have a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to that effect. Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion? And it's obviously, it's essential. The most marginalized kids academically, the ones that need that help. My wife tutors kids, that's what she does for a living, and I can tell you that keeping the kids engaged, even if it's just for little bits over time, is a game changer. I think it's money very well spent. Any other discussion? Valerie, would you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Dillon.
Yes.
Ms. Griffin.
Yes.
Mr. Rudd.
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore.
Yes.
Dr. Smith.
Yes.
Roman numeral 8, superintendent's comments.
First of all, I'd like to start with congratulating Carson. Carson will receive the Franklin B. Walter Award this Friday. Franklin B. Walter was a state superintendent for like 20 years. And he will receive $1,000 a year, I believe, for that award. So congratulations, Carson. I appreciate it. Back to Eric, the job site's going real well. We're having 150 workers up there. And they're doing things that it's gonna get completed. They keep telling us we're gonna get the key we're on October 26th, but we'll receive the key later because there'll be a lot of things we'll go through and we want to change and add this or do this. Maybe some spots on the wall and so forth. So anyway, they're working hard to get that date. And so if everything goes right, we should be able to move in over Thanksgiving. I'd like to thank the custodians for over spring break. They didn't get a spring break. They were here working real hard on our buildings, getting them cleaned up again, and getting ready to get us through the end of the school year. And I'd also like to thank Nicole for the hard work that she did on the strategic plan. We've got some great feedback from that, plus what we're going to put issues and things in the new building, and people will see those. And I think it's be very helpful with the district. Thank you, Nicole, very much.
All right, Roman numeral 9, board member comments. We'll start with Carson and move our way this way.
I don't really have a whole lot, but I do want to say that I think the strategic plan is solid. I was fortunate enough to be a part of that process, and a lot of discussion and revision and thought sharing happened. So thank you, Ms. Thomas.
Yeah, with the plan that you guys presented, I went over, I think it's going to, open a lot of new opportunities and really prepare students for, future, whether they want to go to college or they want to take a different path. So I'm excited to see where that's gonna go. Thank you.
I'd just like to say, this stretch from spring break to the end of school is always such an exciting time, but it's also such a busy time. I just want to thank everyone who worked so hard and just keep hanging in there and push through to the end.
I have a couple things. One, I think it's an exciting time for the district, being in the midst of our superintendent search process. And so I'm excited for our upcoming executive session this evening so that I get to share some thoughts and get to hear some thoughts. We have some amazing candidates, and if we handle this right, we can make a great hire, and that's got to be the goal, because you can't miss. too many times without it having really long-term consequences. And so, just, something that we get to do, and it's a duty we take very seriously. And so, just understand that. Second, I would like to learn more about the nursing situation, that, like, you got my attention. And so I would like to learn more. And the fact is, I mean, let's be honest, we got the Farmersville School issue, we got the new building issue, we got, we're negotiating a new teaching contract, we've got a lot of things going. But I need to hear more about what would satisfy your concerns. And so, at some point, I'd like to have that conversation just one-on-one if we can. And then one issue, and it's not something that we talked about as a board, but I did have a parent raise a concern with me about remote learning issues, and how it costs the district for people to go the remote learning route. And some people have to end up going the homeschool route instead, which is a step removed. And I understand, and I'm still getting my mind around the issue that we have limited that to a lot of times physical health issues, but I do think we recognize that mental health is as big an issue as physical health oftentimes is. And so I would just like, if as a board, if we could maybe in the coming months give some thought, maybe before we get into the next school year, about how we want to approach remote learning where there are mental health obstacles as opposed to physical health obstacles. I think that would be really helpful. So just something to be thinking about before we begin. So.
Yes, I want to thank Nicole Thomas. I was also part of the board group for graduate. It was really a great turnout. We had we had students, we had parents, we had community members, teachers, everybody was really involved and engaged, and it was a great learning experience for a board member who hasn't been through something like that. So it was a really great learning experience for me. And I really feel like we really did our due diligence, and I think we've got the right setup for our portrait for graduate. I'm really excited to see that play out, and for us to get, stay on task and keep having good updates and be good with that. And then also, I'll come hang with you guys for a day on a Friday.
Please.
Specifically on a Friday.
Please, it's me by myself, primary, intermediate, meet me there, you're welcome.
All right, I'll be there.
I just wanted to touch on the Farmersville building. Our council has been in contact with Montgomery County Land Bank. There will be another round of funding this summer. Our application is due June 3rd for that. We've got some documents we have to get organized and in line. Of course, Montgomery County Land Bank can't tell us, yes, you're going to get the money, but they don't see any reason or any disqualifiers for us to receive some of the funds. So things are moving in the direction we hope, and we'll let you know when we hear something else. Thank you.
State testing starts tomorrow, so I'd just like to wish students good luck, and I know it can be a stressful time.
All right. Well, we do have two items for executive session. Agenda item 10, to consider the employment and or compensation of a public employee and to discuss negotiations. And so if we move and vote to do it, we'll be going into executive session. There will not be any business other than adjournment taking place after executive session. And so unless you just really like adjournments, there's no good reason to stay around. And so I'm gonna make a motion to go into executive session for two stated reasons. Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Valerie, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Dillon,
Yes.
Ms. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Rudd,
Yes.
Mr. Skidmore.
Yes.
And Dr. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Where did Kevin
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I don't know.
I was thinking the same thing.
I know down there and it's not pleasant.
Well, I just started.
Oh, yeah, oh, I know.